Eminence. Go throw them knees up in the air. Yeah. Oh yeah.
9, 8, 7. We have a go for main engine start. 4, 3, 2, 1, and liftoff.
Travis Scott, Tugger, baby. I go for, I call your whore, just a fucking short. I just went got my door, pull it off and I'm gone. Then I go up before, then I roll up, then I'm calling your whore. Pick up the phone, baby. I know you're home, baby. It's lit, I'm in the zone, baby. Straight up, just put up before, baby. Yeah. Never will I cheat on you. Never will I commit treason. Blowing a bag on you. You all of that for no reason. I'ma pull up in my toe. Hitting the block and I'm bleeding. Throwing it rolling on you. I like the way it be freezing. Pick up the phone, baby. I know you're home, baby. It's lit, I'm in the zone.
What is up, SFL Nation? And welcome back to SFL Nights with AJ Striker. Thank you so much for joining me today or tonight or whenever you decided to hit that play button or turn on that radio dial. Really appreciate it, y'all. And I am joined by my host with the most, Mr. Diggy. How are you doing today?
Good. I'm even more ready for this show. You know, I watched the interview from the last one. You know, Thump got on there talking that Green Bay smack, so I had to come dressed up. I mean, hell, I haven't got the pants on. I'm all decked out, ready to go. And throughout the show, you're gonna see the light. Sometimes it gets bright, and sometimes it gets like this orange color. And I didn't mind today because this right here. So eat it, Thump, and just enjoy the show and all the Bears glory. There we go. Enough said. Let's roll.
Oh gosh, what have we started? Thank you so much, Diggy, for being on and looking good, by the way. I do it. Bears fan, I do love it. So we're gonna go over week 3 review for the SFLm action that is occurring right now. Do our picks for week 4. Hot topic question is going to be from Doug Day, who dropped this in our suggestions channel, and that is: could the SFL utilize a system similar to the NCAA for awarding players? Meaning, like for every award for every position that's available. So, interesting topic. 4th and goal interview will include tight end / wide receiver and a free agent at that, Mr. Talon Steele. And I have rookie cornerback Nick Frossil on the show tonight. So it's going to be a good one. Sit back and relax and let's go over week 3. So Tacoma took on the Albuquerque Adams. And Albuquerque won 23-21. And I figured that they would turn things around at some point. Tacoma had 243 yards passing, 69 yards rushing, 312 total. The time of possession was 19 minutes, 40 seconds with 3 mistakes. The Adams had 179 yards passing, 155 yards rushing for 334 yards total. Their time of possession was 22 minutes, 50 seconds with 1 mistake. Player of the game was halfback Josh Slapp. 28 attempts, 150 yards, 1 touchdown, and 54 reception yards. But, Diggy, give us a little bit more information on this wonderful game that occurred.
Let's see here. I gotta find my stuff because we didn't have any problems the last couple weeks, but now my internet acted up again. So
that's all right.
I don't know. I might need to call my company. Seems like I got the same internet Chad has. I might need to switch.
The hamster wheel.
Yeah. So, Tacoma versus the Adams is what you just went over, right?
Yes.
The 21. The congrats on their first win, of course, starting out. The 3-play, 70-yard drive from Jackson and Gibson to give Tacoma the early lead in the first was cool to see. Slap had some great breaks for long runs, but the Adams had to settle for 2 field goals, about 7-6 in the first quarter. The Adams Slap continued to grind down the field until Ty could connect with Ferdinand to give him the lead, 14-7. We closed in the first half 20-14 as King Jackson hit Andrew Gibson for a touchdown to get to come within 1 score. Handed it off to Jackson, of course, in the third to give Tacoma the lead, 21-20. Jackson had some great placed passes this game. Some of that how did you make that type passes here, and it was fun to watch. Manning grabbed an interception for the Adams, which resulted in a field goal to put the Adams back up 23-21 to end the third, and this would be the last points of the game, like you said. The fourth had some overthrown passes from Jackson and some that should have been caught that were dropped from some of the receivers. Both defenses really did a good job of this game of bending a little bit but not breaking, and both of the offenses kind of fell off in the fourth. But it was a fun game to watch, so I enjoyed it.
Indeed, Adams and Tacoma both were great teams. Both play exciting ball, so I can't wait to see what they do for the rest of the season. Another exciting team, too, actually, was the San Jose Flight taking on Madison Lynx, where the Lynx won 31-24. The Flight had 297 yards passing, 148 yards rushing, 445 yards total. Time of possession was 22 minutes, 2 seconds. One mistake. The Lynx had 298 yards passing, 105 yards rushing for 403 total. The time of possession was 21 minutes, 38 seconds with no mistakes. Player of the game was quarterback Switch Thumper. 24 completions, 29 attempts, 298 yards, 3 touchdowns, and a quarterback rating of 144.0. So, Diggy, what did you think about this game?
Madison's defense was outstanding to start the game, as well as a great punt to get San Jose pinned deep into their own territory. Both teams didn't have a kicker, and it showed with Madison missing a field goal early. That would have given them the lead. Blanco got the team moving at the end of the first. Quick passes and a run by Wk4 and rainstorm, to give San Jose Flight their first game, 7-0 to end the first. Madison with 3 points on the board, first possession of the second, but San Jose came out after a slow moving start. They really moved down the field really well with some passes from Blanco and runs from Wk4 again, but they again had to settle for 3 to make it 10-3. Thumper was able to hit Beasley deep for a touchdown to tie it up at 10, but Madison had some big passes to get the lead, 17-10 halftime. Starting in the second half, Madison's big passes helped Vicarian get some runs in, and after they aired Wk4 stats, it was funny because right after they aired Wk4 stats, he was averaging 3 yards a carry. He busted a huge run, spinning into the open field, but he got vultured by Larry Hormel in the end zone. So I'm sure he didn't care for that, but they did. They tied it up 17-7. Thump aired it out, got into great field position, Vicarian into the end zone for 17. It was good to see Wk4 have some good runs this, but a turnover gave Madison the ball back at the end of the third. And the start of the fourth, Madison continued that same drive and hit Lewis in the end zone to extend it to 31-17. The run game for San Jose got stalled out in the fourth, but Blanco was able to keep the ball moving with the pass to J.R.Lawless in the end zone on a deep pass, and brought it back in with 24-31 there. And it looked like Blanco was going to march them back down the field again. But Madison's defense was able to get a couple sacks in a row to kill the momentum and seal the win with 2 minutes left on the clock. But it goes to show the craziness in this league. You think somebody's out, and then boom, 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 right back down the field, and you're like, man, it's still a game. So
right?
It was a good one.
Any given Sunday, you can't count people out. So always. Excuse me. The Lexington Miners took on the Ottawa Cavalry, where the Miners won 17-9. Miners had 273 yards passing, 72 yards rushing, 345 total. Their time of possession was 21 minutes, 59 seconds, with 2 mistakes. Ottawa Cavalry had 242 yards passing, 45 yards rushing, 278 total. Their time of possession was 20 minutes, 51 seconds, with only 1 turnover. Player of the game was Willie Smoke, halfback, 19-10, 65 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 15 reception yards. So, Diggy, what did you think about the Cavalry and Miners game?
I had a little extra to say on this one, and I worked it in here. Okay, just because I'm not usually active in when the game's going on. I just kind of watch, but the players at this time are still, trying to chemistry, and we kind of saw that at the beginning of this game. McCall had some amazing passes, but they just weren't hauled in by the receiving core. Once that's kind of fixed, this team could be doing some really, really good things and be one to be really worried about. Moore had some great passes as well. Both Lexington and Ottawa brought the defense, resulting in a scoreless first quarter. First points came from Ottawa's kicker Jacobson, with less than 3 minutes left in the first half, and the first touchdown came from Lexington with less than 40 seconds left in the first half. So 7-3 going into the half. The back and forth really continued in the third. Matt Ryan got an interception off a tipped pass by Lexington's defense. They came out held strong, keeping Ottawa to a field goal. Still down 7-6 at the end of the third. Starting the fourth, Ottawa's defense returned the favor, holding Smoke back at the goal line and making Lexington settle for a field goal to make it 10-6. And it got crazier from there. Ottawa kicks another field goal within 1 point, 10-9. The end zone again for a touchdown to make it 17-9 with 3 minutes left. McCall gets Ottawa at the 31-yard line, just short on a 4th and 1. And which, personally thought he converted. I think it was just a bad call there. It's whatever. There was a minute and 55 seconds left. I already saw the GGs drop. Hang on. This dang internet. I tell you what, man. This is... Man, okay, it's good now. Okay. But like I said, there was a minute and 55 seconds left, and the GGs are dropping in the chat. You cannot do that here in the SFL. You cannot do that with a game like this one. Anything happens, even with seconds or 1 second left. I mean, we've seen say break one with 1 second left and touchdown, right? I mean, anything can happen. We've seen QCC and DC win with just a couple seconds left. It's any time in this game, anything can happen. Or just like earlier this week, they're down and they start marching back on that last drive. But like I was saying, they had Ottawa got the ball back, but threw an interception in the end zone that was upheld by a Lexington defender. It shouldn't have been upheld, so they both had a call. The guy never got his foot down inbounds. The calls that were blown, and Lexington decided to keep throwing the ball instead of burning crazy. They both managed to hold on for the 17-9 win after Tacoma had one more try, but came up short. I really think if McCall's receivers kind of were able to hold onto some of those balls their way, and they were able to get the little extra yardage, that this game could have turned out differently. But like we say all the time, anybody, any Sunday, and on top of that, what's the main rule? Don't leave the game in the hands of the refs. So you got to go out there, you got to get the job done, and we can't blame blown calls, and because honestly, we never should have position.
Indeed, it's funny that you mentioned those close games and not saying good game too early, because I remember one of my favorite games was the Seattle Tyrants at the time, taking on the Alaska Storm. I don't know if they had moved to Florida at the time. I think they may have just moved to Florida. But great game. Alaska was winning until like literally seconds. And then Seattle wound up stealing. So you literally should wait till you see triple zeros on the clock in the fourth quarter before you start dropping good games, because anything can happen, you know. But Annapolis Navigators took on the Lincoln Rattlesnakes, where Lincoln won 31-25. Annapolis had 306 yards passing, 128 yards rushing, 434 total. Time possession was 25 minutes and 36 seconds with 2 turnovers. Lincoln had 176 yards passing, 164 yards rushing, 340 total. Time of possession, 18 minutes, 24 seconds, no mistakes. Player of the game was halfback Logan Lee. 28 attempts, 164 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 28 reception yards. So, D, tell us about Annapolis versus Lincoln.
I'm not gonna lie, Lincoln looked good to start. You know, Slider converted on multiple third downs to start the game, but burned a timeout early in the first. So Hudson James could get them 3 points on the board. Highwind was able to give Annapolis some momentum as he got the safety. Brown followed it up with another good pass in the second to Sutherland to extend the lead to 15-3. Fullerton stepped up for Lincoln, helping Slider continue to have great progress on converting third downs and get Lee the opportunity to get Lincoln their first touchdown. And it went into the second half. They were down 15-10, but Lee was able to get back into the end zone in the third, where he helped get Lincoln the lead 17-15. And the momentum shifted as Lincoln's defense was able to grab a pick six and strike fast to make it 24-15. After the block, Monsoor came back and got Annapolis another 3 point, 24-18. Annapolis had plenty of opportunities to get the lead and win in this game, but running when passes should have been thrown. And just honestly, I think they relied a little bit too heavily on Grant Jr. in this game. So it was another one that really could have went either way. There was a lot of close games this week. So,
well, that just shows the competitiveness of the coaches and the great utilization of the players. And even their progressions. So keep up the good work, y'all. Keep it entertaining. Week 4, SFLm action will include Ottawa taking on Annapolis. I'm gonna let Diggy go first on this one. I'm kind of interested.
So before we pick, we only have to choose from already. I'm 3 of 8, and you're 4 of 8. So we're still close. So let me get into the first one. You said Ottawa.
Yes, Ottawa Cavalry taking on the Annapolis Navigators.
This one was tough for me because I feel that Ottawa can pull this out. Their defense played extremely well against Lexington, and it was just the offensive chemistry. We're getting deep into the season where teams can figure out other teams' specialty, other teams, especially the 3 weeks of tape. I'm sorry, I can't talk right now. The 3 weeks of tape that people have. But I've also seen Brown continue to improve. And yes, there's still some, young rookie, quarterback mistakes and when it comes to the passing game and stuff. But he does show flashes of how great he can be. I'm going to go with Annapolis here and how the defense held up both against Madison and against the Adams. They held them both to 14 points or less. We're going to be able, and being able to provide Brown the most opportunities he can to make up for some of the mistakes that are going to come. I think that'll be the difference here is the defense. So I'm going to go Annapolis. And if you like you said, progressions, if you like to see progression in action, watch Brown. He's improved every week. From week 1 to week 2 to week 3, I wrote it down here real quick. It was Brown. Week 1, 66% completion, 152 yards, 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions. Week 2, up to 71% for 175 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. And then week 3, 71%. Hang on. Brown, where'd he go? He went up to 72% with 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. He's improved every week. So if you like seeing progression in action and getting the right progressions in, just keep watching that. I mean, I've ranked them 1 through 8, what I think the quarterbacks are right now.
Mm-hmm.
I can do that later if you want me to, but he's just, I like seeing people improve, and if you stick with it and look at how you want your player to play, you can have success. So somebody's doing good right there.
I think that'd be a great idea towards the end of the season. That way you can kind of get a chance to look at everybody and see how they're going to progress and see how it works. You know, and if you want to keep like a score, like a little tally on how they're doing during that time, then that's cool. But I think like, you know, maybe like your best choice or Diggy's choice.
There's that have won each week. I've wrote it for each week, but there's quarterbacks that top the list for the week, like best quarterback of the week, you know. But then I have my overall that I'm looking at for the whole season, and then some of the names and some of the positions would be surprising. But
looking forward to it. The Lexington Miners.
I picked who are you picking?
Annapolis. I think Ottawa definitely has the personnel to do what they need to do. I just think that just shaking the cobwebs off and just trying to get acclimated with the team and everything. I think that the coaching is definitely coming together for them. I'm just not sure if it's going to be enough to surpass Annapolis for this game, but they're definitely going to get a couple wins this season. But I am going to go with Annapolis. Lexington Miners taking on the Lincoln Rattlesnakes. Should be a great game to watch as well. Both show promise. Both have the ability to score, especially both offensive have ability to score. So this is going to be a defensive battle. The task, whoever defense steps up in this game is going to be victorious. And judging by what I saw last week, I think Rattlesnakes is going to take this one.
If Lexington keeps that defense playing well and can get more connecting on more of these passes again, I think Lexington takes this one, even after the 30 points we saw Lincoln put up last week. Mm-hmm. But I want to say something. I need to see something from the Rattlesnakes that we haven't seen in 2 weeks, and that's a touchdown pass from Slider. Slider's got 1 touchdown pass on the whole season so far. 1 touchdown pass in 3 games. So we need to kind of, get that going, as well as the run game that we've seen and stuff. So if they can do that, I mean, it makes it even more dangerous for them. But I'm going Lexington this week.
Okay, gotcha. Madison Lynx will be taking on the Tacoma Grizzlies, and I think this will probably be game of the week. Very interesting game, very hard hitters. I think that here the better offense is going to win the game. I
think, does Tacoma have a kicker? I can't remember.
No, I don't know. That I don't know. But I'm thinking about the different connections that can be made and that have been very iconic thus far in their season. And I think Tacoma is actually going to want to taking this, maybe by a touchdown or less. But I think that Tacoma is going to wind up taking this game.
If Tacoma wins, it's going to be based off Madison's no kicker situation and having a missed 3-point field goal that should have been made.
Well, I don't know if Tacoma has a kicker, so that means
I don't know if they do either. I'm just speaking for what I know 100%. I know Madison don't have one. I know there is kickers in there. There's a punter this season, but I can't remember who if Tacoma had one or not. I'd have to look at the sheet, but Madison versus Tacoma, it is going to be a great game. It's going to be a good match between the Lynx and the Grizzlies. And you already know where this one's going. I'm going Madison.
Of course.
I'm going Madison this week. Let's see if they can keep it together. Thumper has put 2 great games in a row together. I think it continues this week, especially with that defense. If Tacoma wants to win this one, like I said, the offense just needs to play at a high level the whole game. We can't struggle in the fourth like they did last week, especially against a Madison defense where they kind of, they fell off a little bit. And they have to get Ben Jackson using the legs to win here. But Thump, let's see, last week, Thump had 82% completion rate, 298 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. Week 2, Thump had a 90% completion rate, 208 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. He hasn't thrown an interception in 2 weeks. So let's hopefully he can keep the drive going. I mean, it's showing good chemistry with your people, so.
I hope you didn't jinx him by mentioning that.
Oh. I'm here to give the facts.
All right, well, we'll see. He gonna blame you if we throw.
Hey, as long as he don't come out there like you said, I mean, you gotta throw the ball to get it in the end zone, and
hey, exactly.
They're taking pretty good care of it.
More or less.
And interceptions to come. You can't get the touchdowns without the picks. So.
That's true. And
I've already knocked on wood before I talked about this.
I hope so. Annapolis, final game. Annapolis Navigator. I'm sorry. Albuquerque Adams will be taking on the San Jose Flight. This is going to be another great game to watch. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. And I think it's going to come down to which team has the ball last. And in that case, I think I'm gonna let you go first.
So I can talk you into one way or the other?
No. I'm just really torn. This is like a toss-up because either team can pull it out. So
yeah, the Adams. They're going to have to keep Slap and the offense going. Just like I said about Tacoma, they can't fall off the tracks in the fourth quarter like we kind of saw last week. I think this will be their second win of the season. Ty needs another good, effective week and also needs his defense to stay strong and give that offense plenty of opportunities to put points on the board. San Jose needs to play strong football and fast football. We can't have them having a slow start in the first quarter and then picking up speed, or being forced to settle for 3 points. So they're going to have to get the touchdowns. They're going to have to play fast. They're going to have to get started quickly, not warm up and then get rolling. So I'm going Adams this week.
Are both teams 1-2 right now?
Look at the standings. I haven't been keeping track of who's 0-1 or 1-1.
I know Ottawa hasn't won yet. I know Ottawa hasn't won a game yet. I'm not sure about everybody else, but I want to say Albuquerque and San Jose both have only won one game.
I'm trying not to. Okay, here we are.
You got it? Good.
Yeah, I was trying not to pull it up on the computer and have too much drawn off the
internet. Yep.
Yeah, off the internet. So Ottawa hasn't won a game. San Jose's 1-2, and the Adams are 1-2. Yeah, they won their first game last week, but it's crazy because just to give you a little bit more, San Jose has Austin Blanco, right? Mm-hmm. He's got 917 yards, 6 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. And the Adams have Type Attack, who's got 584 yards, 4 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. So Blanco's throwing the ball a little bit more, right? But they both have 3 interceptions. It could be anybody's game. And looking at this right now, you've got Lexington's Chad Moore, Austin from San Jose, and Ottawa's McCall. Any one of those 3, more likely Moore or Blanco will hit 1,000 yards this week on the season already. So could be.
I think that Adams are going to take this win. San Jose Flight lost a lot of good people in the draft, you know. And so when you have those new bills, when you have those new players that are all, you know, and trying to get the coaching and everything together, sometimes it kind of gels a little bit faster than others, or you know, sometimes like their aggressions kind of mellow together a little bit better than others. I think that San Jose will probably go deep and, you know, have a fantastic season overall, but I think against the Adams, they're not quite ready. So,
do you have an early prediction you want to pick for the championship? Let's see who gets the closest.
I think it's gonna be. I can pick 3 teams that might beat it.
No, you get 3 teams don't play in a championship.
3 teams.
What league are you in?
3 teams.
What league are you in? What universe is this? Where do they play this kind of football where 3 people play to win a championship?
I'm sorry. This is SFL Nights with AJ Striker. So if AJ wants to pick 3 teams that could possibly make the championship, she will. So.
Well, I'm gonna go first since you're gonna cheat and cover the spread. I'm gonna go first since you're gonna pick 3. I'm gonna say, from what I'm seeing, there could be, like you said, 3 teams, 3 possible teams. There's 8 possible teams, but I'm gonna break it down to 2.
Okay.
From what I'm seeing and what I like from what I'm seeing, I could see a repeat of a championship that's already happened, Lexington and Madison.
Okay.
Going to the championship, and of course, the history repeating itself. You know, and Madison coming out with the win there. But I'm going for it, and I'm not just saying that because I'm alumni. You know, I picked against Madison before, but I'm glad I mentioned them in that because I like how they're going, and I like how Lexington's going.
I think it may be a combination of the Adams, the Lynx, and the Navigators. Because the way the Navies are playing this season, they're definitely showing improvement. And Adams are kind of struggling right now, but they are the Adams, you know. And Madison Lynx, like I said, both the Adams and Madison know how to get back to the championship. They have that key, so they know what to do. It's just about making sure that players are progressing well and that the bills are meshing together the way they needed to be able to make that happen. But yeah, that's all. Hot topic question though is from Doug Day, and he says, could the SFL utilize a system similar to the NCAA for awarding players, meaning awarding awarding for every position, including O linemen and D linemen players? So I think that's a great idea. I'm not sure how time consuming that would be unless you put it like to a community vote, and then it could turn into a popularity contest after that. But if you really wanted to give awards away, kind of like those, like the NCAA, because that is a lot of work that would be on the league staff members to do, maybe you should let it go back to the community to have a community vote, and you will put some of the top stat members as the selections for each, for each position, and have everybody, and literally put the stats there, so everybody can see. And, you can go from there. I'm just not sure if the league would have time to really go through and acknowledge all of those players. I mean, they could, especially since Cam is switching over to the new game. He wanted to do that so that he could have time to do more for the league, to have more interaction with the community. Because even on the show, a few weeks ago when he was on it, he was saying that was something that he was lacking, and that was something that he could definitely do better, is have more interaction with his community. And when you're stuck putting in playbooks, for all the 28 teams, when you're stuck just making sure that you're the executive producer for all of these games and making sure everything goes right, all the graphics are done beautifully, that's a lot of work. But since he's alleviating a lot of that, he may have time for it. So if the league can and find the time to be able to acknowledge every player, including the O line and the D linemen, they definitely deserve some recognition, especially since stats are not being tracked for them anyway. To receive a reward because somebody saw you do something great, I think that would mean a lot, and make it worthwhile.
As long as I think it's a good idea, as long as it's not like too detailed where everybody gets an award for every little thing, you know what I'm saying? Like, most pancakes or, least time sacked, the list can grow. I said, but as long as it's just position related, like best O lineman, best D lineman, best tight end, best wide receiver, best, one per position, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. Yeah. Let's not get crazy with it. But like you said, that's something not just Cam can do with the community. It's something else that gives somebody fire to compete for within the community, because not everybody's going to get, some people realization, hey, I'm on a team that might never make the playoffs. That's not in the cards for me, but I enjoy being the star of my team, or I enjoy being a top face of this franchise, or I the group of people I'm with. I'm not leaving. Hang on. Unstable again. Okay, it went away. So you have that plays a key role into it, but it gives them something to aim for. I may never go the distance, but I can win top wide receiver of the league for the next, you know what I'm saying? I can be the best in my position. It gives somebody a different goal to aim for rather than, man, stand a chance this year. I know it's going to be a few years because we're rebuilding. I know it's going to be I'm just going through the motions here. No, it gives somebody a goal to aim for.
Yeah.
So I like it. It's just we have to, like you said, find a way to keep it from becoming popularity contest. And even if you look at stats, you were leading the league in tackles, but is that because your defense was on the field 85% of the game because your offense can't play, or is it you actually were that good? You know what I'm saying? There's people that played better than you that had less tackles, but you're outbeating them on the stat sheet because your defense is on the field almost the whole game. So I think there needs to be a way to kind of level that and make it more fair rather than just picking the names right off the top.
Yeah, and if you did that, you'd have to have criteria for reasonable criteria that you would be choosing from. And as long as those individuals meet that criteria, and and you're giving the community the chance to voice their opinion about who should, have an award, because I noticed that there are a lot of people that are vocal, some more than others,
like you said,
about different things, about the MVPs, about who should be in the All-Star game, who should be, I don't think it should be, okay, all right, well, now here's a chance for you to speak your mind, and that's it.
Yeah, if it worries you that much or bothers you that much every season who gets placed in there, and you don't want to do stats, and you don't want to do graphics, and you don't want to do all this other stuff with broadcasting, or you don't want to do podcasts, or you don't want to do anything scouting, you don't want to do nothing for your team, but you pay enough attention to that stuff, get 4 guys or girls or whatever, get yourself together, go to Cam and say, hey, we don't do this, but we really enjoy doing this. We watch almost all the games. We see who's playing this, and it's not just because they're leading the leaderboard in tackles or whatever, right? Talk to them, see if you can get a little group together from the community. They can make a fair choice, and like you said, don't open the whole roster to everybody to pick, putting names and stats in. That's too much work. But go to Cam and say, hey, we've got 4 guys or girls from each position to put in here for people to vote on. Put the stats in there. Done. Do something. Don't just sit back and complain about it. Be part of the solution. If you want to see movement and you really care much about something, go to Cam with the idea. Cam listens to everybody. Cam has an open door policy, so I mean, it's one of those leagues that you don't have to worry about that. You're not bugging him. He may be busy. It may take him a little bit to get back to you sometime, but he will get back to you. So, and if he doesn't like it, what's the worst thing he can say? No.
Yes.
I mean, it's always no unless you ask.
Yeah.
So
Exactly. That is some good stuff, Diggy. Good stuff. But we are shooting over to 4th and Goal interviews with Talon Steele and Nick Frossil. Coming right up. What is up, SFL Nation? And we're back with my 4th and Goal interview featuring 2 individuals that are not only my friends, but they have been on the show before, so they are not new to the way I do things. With some of these fun questions at the end, I'm sure is going to kind of stump a little bit. Excited about that. But I have here with me Mr. Nick Frossil. He is rookie cornerback for the San Jose Flight right now.
Yep, the San Jose Flight. Yep.
All right, cool. Very interesting story right here.
Somewhat.
Okay. You know what I'm saying? And then I have Mr. Talon Steele, aka Angel. He was a member of the London Knights crew.
Absolutely true.
Now a free agent looking for a home. So we got a lot to discuss.
Oh yeah.
So, but gentlemen, welcome back to the show. I'm really glad to have you. Beautiful day outside, just kind of relaxing and chilling together. For those that did not get a chance to actually see our shows before, just give us one interesting fact about yourself that either you did not give on the show or that many people may not know about you. And I'm going to start with you first, Nick.
I mean, they might guess it, but I'm an avid gamer. I love to game. Sports is kind of secondary for me, so I like the gaming portion of it. But I just always, I don't know, I love building computers. I built my own gaming computer. And I just love playing kind of like I play city builders, MMOs, any type of game I just enjoy. It's kind of like I tend to have some anxiety, so it's almost like it helps my anxiety by playing video games. So I kind of kept with it past the age of 18. So
kind of an escapism kind of thing, where you just in another world, maybe doing things that you could not do in this one.
So same thing as reading a book. I love reading, and you kind of I read a lot of fiction, so I get lost in another world. It's the same way with video games. So
right, is there like maybe one or two that you favor? Like this, hey, I'm playing this whenever I feel down, or like this is my go-to game when I'm bored.
So there is a game I never get bored of. It's not really an intense game. It's called Super Auto Pets, and it's just one of those games that you play when you're bored and you don't really want to play any other video games. And it's really just, I don't even know how to explain it. It's just a battle type game that you play against other people online. And like every different, character has different abilities. So it's a really easy game. Like my 3-year-old could probably play it, but it's just one of those games that you play if you're bored.
Okay. Like D&D or something?
Whoa.
Not that as in depth. Okay,
I was like,
it's very surface level.
I'm like, oh my God, my daughter is now getting into Dungeons and Dragons, and I'm like, oh, what is this die? Why is it 10 sides? I just have some questions. But
I love D&D, so I learned D&D. So
awesome. Well, Talon, welcome back. Give us an interesting fact about yourself. Is that it? That you love D&D? Or?
No. Of course, everybody knows me now as personality. I'm saying, most of the conventions. I've been to the last 2. Absolute plan to go to Cincinnati. Got to be there. I'm a little wild, pretty crazy. I guess in a lot of aspects, I might have had a couple drinks at the convention, But I guess the craziest fact would be the fact that, you've seen me. I'm a pretty big guy. most people don't assume that. I guess I hate to say that I'm smart, but I'm actually an interface developer and programmer for healthcare in Nashville, and that's why I'm here. I write 5 different languages of code. So my day job is actually primarily writing, code for healthcare and doing development data, communication patient data. So that's probably something that everybody would have not assumed by any means if you've met me. So when I go out, I tend to let loose and have a good time, and I try to make sure the people that are around me having a good time too. But my day-to-day job is if I have to go into the office, I'm wearing slacks and dress shoes and a tie. So it's a little wild, I guess when I tell people that, they're like, I would have never seen that. And I'm like, thanks, I guess. So, but yeah, so that's probably something that a lot of people don't know.
Well, you never judge a book by its cover either, right? You never. I mean, we have all types of people with all kind of backgrounds and everything in here. We got doctors, pharmaceutical representatives, police officers, detectives, a whole bunch of different aspects, fishermen, retirees, servicemen. This is a whole bunch of different people that make up this community. So you never judge a book by its cover. So
and add to it, I'm definitely a big avid gamer too. So we need to hook up afterwards, Nick. So yeah, I mean that's predominantly most of my free time. He plays I'm not sure the pet game, but I play more like if I'm not doing anything, it's Hearthstone. So I play that a lot during the day.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah, I know. I think everybody has. People are like, "What is Hearthstone?" I'm like, well, it's a Blizzard game. It's actually a lot of fun." So
hey, man, that's what you got to have some kind of outlet.
Yep.
And at least it's a healthy one. You could be outside, going to club, doing all kind of stuff, but you're at home.
Not that I don't do that either. I got to live Talon's lifestyle,
I mean, that's for anybody that's just choosing to kind of stay home and just enjoy other worlds, But both of you guys are on different paths on your career for the SFL. And it's very interesting to have both of you on because I have Rookie here that decided that he could have been drafted last season. But he decided that he wanted to go back. And I know you're gonna get more in detail with that. So back to the minors. And then I have Talon Steele, who is a veteran. You've been in the league for a couple seasons, right?
4 now.
4 now, yeah. So a couple years. 2 years in the season, and has only played for 2 teams?
Well, with London breaking up, it'll be a total of 3 now. So
3 now. Yeah. And on different paths in their careers. So let's gonna start with Nick first. So Nick, I alluded to you deciding that you did not want to be drafted. Can you tell us exactly what was that moment and why did you make that decision?
Yeah, so I kind of looked into the future and I liked playing with everybody. I liked the whole league and everything like that. And when I first started, I didn't know. I think the consensus is that height kind of matters in the game in APF. So I created myself as myself basically. So I created myself as 5'11", and I thought it might be a good choice to go back to because if you're drafted, I don't think you can change your height. But if you go back into the minors and you take I think it was either a 5 or a 6 week progression hit, you could change anything about yourself. So I could change my height or anything like that. So I decided to do that because I thought it would be better for my player and it'd be better for me to have more fun going forward to be the best player that I could be. And then they announced after that, that they were switching to the new game, and I don't believe we think height matters as much. So I decided not to take the progression hit, and I decided to keep my height because I like the idea of kind of modeling it after myself. And if height doesn't matter as much, I just left myself the way I was. So it does help me out a little bit, obviously, because I get to have that second year in the minors, which you get those extra weeks that you can progress yourself. So I'm ahead of, or I will be ahead of where I would have been if I was drafted. But that was the basic reason. I just wanted to change my height because if we stayed with that game, I just thought I didn't want to hinder myself, 3, 4, 5 seasons down the line. I wanted to, enjoy it and try to be the best player I could be. So
actually, that's pretty smart when you think about it. I mean, I know that probably wasn't your original thought process, But it worked out for you better in the end because you're going to be more valuable as a player going into someone's locker room on the field. You definitely want off the field because I've seen what you do around the league. I've seen how active you are, you know. So that portion of if I was looking for someone, another cornerback, you know, that's something that I would be looking for. You know, so you would definitely be drafted this season. And I believe that you were going to get drafted last season too. So for you to just be like, you know what, let me just hold off. That took a lot of willpower, man. So.
Yeah, I mean, to me, the SFLm and SFL are basically the same game to me. I enjoy watching myself play in either game. So I didn't look at it the same way as a lot of other people. Like a lot of people are more competitive, I guess you would say. Yeah. And I just enjoyed watching myself play football. So it's cool going to the SFL, you know, because you can win rings. But I'm like, I'm eventually going to get there. And I enjoy watching myself on San Jose. So it wasn't that big of a deal for me. Like it didn't hurt not being drafted or anything like that. I mean, it did hurt seeing people that I played with in the SFLm, you know, go up, and I wasn't doing that with them. But kind of like, you know, if you stayed back in the 12th grade and you see everybody else graduate, but you didn't. But yeah, I don't think it really mattered as much to me as it would to some other people.
Okay, good stuff. Well, like I said, it looked like it worked out for you in your favor, in the back end. You know, so it's not all bad. Now, on to Talon. So, you have been in the league, like you said, you've been in the league for a while, for 2 years, so that's 4 seasons. Mm-hmm. And you played with now 3 different teams. So, I would like for you to go over the teams that you played for, and then what was your reasoning for leaving those teams? I mean, I could do it, but I think it sounds better.
So it's very interesting to hear this, you know, the story, because when, you know, Talon first came into the league, it was getting to the big show. Didn't care about the minors. You know, I didn't have the best stint in the minors, so you know, Talon's always been a bigger personality. Always wanted to go to the big show. Didn't really care about the minors. You know, I mean, it was just a stepping stone to get up into where I needed to be. So when it came down to it, definitely started talking to people and put myself out there and really trying to, you know, work the game to get to the you know, the majors. And it was Mike All that I have a lot of respect for, which I know you know. He's become a good friend, as well as somebody that I lean on, you know what I'm saying, for a lot of decisions and choices and just the way that, you know, Talon's being put to work. And he took a chance on me, as well as Frank, the owner of Jacksonville, which, you know, a lot of respect to Frank. Frank's an amazing man. He decided to, you know, put me out there, and you know, against my better judgment, I sat behind, you know, one of the greatest tight ends we got right now, you know, Jack Wall. A lot of respect to him. I sat behind him, you know, as a young player, but at the same time kind of felt that, you know what I'm saying, like I, you know, hated being in the shadows a little bit because Jack's a beast, you know, there's no knocking that, you know, but listened to Mike and Frank and stayed there, for my second season. You know, the production wasn't what I kind of had hoped it to be. No disrespect to the team. You know, because it's hard, you know what I'm saying, like to beat off the people that are stronger and better. So then I ended up deciding to go to free agency, and because of, you know, going to the convention and getting to know people, I got a pretty good relationship with MSG, one of the best wide receivers, of course, who at that time, the team went under the change from the Hyenas to the Headhunters. So coming in, you know, there's a lot of discussion over, you know, production and how things were going to work. And, you know, I decided that I wanted to go there and be the tight end 1 and kind of step out of that, you know, tight end 2 shadows. So played that season with them. And, you know, as much as I hate to team jump, I didn't really feel like the production was there. I didn't really feel like, you know, they needed a tight end, you know what I'm saying, as much as some teams did. No disrespect. I have mad respect for, you know, for Sims as well as MSG, but, you know, I ended up getting to know Johnny Pickler, and became really good friends with him, and we just, the relationship built, and knowing he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league, we had conversations during free agency about what I could bring to the team and what he wanted to use me for. And just last season with the Knights, the production changed and things were big, and, it was huge. London has an amazing locker room, so many good players, so many good people. The relationships are still there. I think all of us were kind of a little caught off guard with the situation, with the team dispersing and us leaving Queensberry. I've never play. I've always wanted to play for a team that's the way they had the production, the way they had the wins. I mean, I can't say from my understanding from the team locker room how many, we've virtually never been beat in Queensberry at home. No team has come in there and really, taken that from us. So it was nice to be a part of that. And, even if that, that in fact it is the last season for the team. And next year Johnny will, take that ownership and turn into something. I'm sure a huge franchise. But it was kind of disheartening. You know what I'm saying? And I know a lot of us in the locker room still kind of feel that way. That the London locker room was amazing. The people are great, and it's rough to after as long as they've been around, to not be there and not have that the team locker room. I mean, everybody's going to different teams and trying to stay in contact. So it's a rough one. So this was not a choice of going into free agency that I completely really wanted to do, but I kind of felt like it was a need. At the same time, I got to keep moving, got to keep playing, and I love SFL. So I love scoring touchdowns and getting the yardage. You know what I'm saying? So for me, it's a must to keep the the excitement going and keep happy. So it's just I know we had talked about it. This year I've decided to switch from tight end and possibly try the wide receiver route. I have a lot of interest to be looking at staying the tight end one. So I'm kind of excited of doing the wide receiver, because if I can build interest with fans and people as a tight end, why couldn't I do it as wide receiver? So that's kind of the background of how things go. And it's kind of a forced situation this time.
I'm gonna come back to that decision part, because I guess my thing is, if you are being courted, quote unquote, for the tight end one position, which you're the starting tight end, why would you want to possibly take a pay cut and to be the position that you want to be in? But before you answer that, Nick, what is the most important aspect when you are joining a team? I would like to know what are your expectations, also of your front office of the team that you could possibly be joining this season.
I think you want a winning attitude. You want people to want to win and do everything they can to get that ring from Baltimore. Gotta get those trophies out of there. The other thing I think I really look for, because similar to like I'm doing this for to lower my anxiety. I like having different hobbies. I think I'm looking for a really good locker room. That's kind of the hard part with trying to figure out who to be drafted by, because you don't see the locker rooms. So you're kind of just postulating based off of what other people might say. Like, Talon is saying, the Kings are a really great locker room. So I'm assuming that's correct. So you kind of just have to take feedback from other people. But I think that's the main thing, because I want to have a very talkative locker room. We're very talkative in San Jose. We have a bunch of fun people in there. So I'd want the same for a major league team.
Okay. And your front office staff, like the GMs, the owners, what are your expectations of that group?
I'd hope to be very active. I'd hope they would reach out to every personality and player on the team, because you want to make sure that, I might have a set way that I want to build my player, but maybe they might have a different view on what they want out of that player. So you got to kind of make sure that you're okay with the feedback. So if there's a front office that wants you to do something and you kind of have to do that, that might be something you would want, or maybe you don't want. Maybe you like the structure, maybe you don't. So I think I personally I like the way I build my player, but I I'm fine with open feedback. I wouldn't want to be within a group that kind of tells me how I have to do it, because that kind of takes the fun out of it. That wouldn't be the reason I'd be playing the game, because I want to build my player how I want to build it, but with feedback from people that know better than I do.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna kind of touch back on that in a second. Talon, so why take a pay cut? Possibly. Not saying that you would. Not saying that somebody going from the tight end position to wide receiver wouldn't be offered the number 1 spot. But if you were offered a number 2 spot or even a number 3 spot, would you take it, or would you go for the teams that are courting you as tight end 1?
Well, be honest, it'd be tough, you know what I'm saying, to step into a lesser role. I'm not gonna lie. For me, it's production, building myself and being the best, player at the position that I'm playing. So it'd be tough. I mean, it's a big choice, and I know, I'm not gonna lie. People like MSG and people like that are so huge at the wide receiver position are such a huge part of the the Hall of Fame and things like that, and that's my goal. I've also got goals bigger than that. So getting myself out there and being a bigger production, a bigger member of I want that every game to be to people, I guess, to look at me and want to be me. You know what I'm saying? Want to be that role, want to be that player, and I'm not sure if it's not the tight end 1. You know what I mean? To be the best tight end, that's pretty much played the game. No disrespect to Jack Wall or any other big tight ends, that are here right now. But at the same time, my goal is to be the best. And it's got to happen. I don't know if testing those waters of of stepping into a bigger pool with the wide receivers, because there's a lot of great ones. So. It's one of those things where it's I'm gonna test it. I'm gonna see what happens. And if the ultimate demand is for me to stay at tight end 1, it's just what I'll do. I mean, I don't really, like I said, I just want to be the best at whatever position I'm at. And like I said, we've talked about it. I've got bigger goals, and those bigger goals are attainable by getting that name out there and meeting people and doing the right things, being there for the team.
Absolutely. And you will.
Oh, AJ, can I ask a question?
Sure.
So I wonder if it would also come into play. So I'm a team that wants you. I want you as a TE1. I'll pay you as a TE1. But you look at my past, and I don't really utilize TE that much. Versus a team that wants you as wide receiver 2, you're going to take a pay cut, but they're slinging to wide receivers every 3 seconds. So I wonder if that would come into play for your choice.
All the factors will. I'm not gonna lie, with being with 4 seasons with different teams as well. I mean, some used me as production, some didn't. Some wanted to, and maybe it was because I wasn't where I needed to be with coaching and listening to the people and getting where I need to be. Like, I think I commend you on staying a rookie. I think it was the best choice you could have made. I probably, if I could, wouldn't have been so eager to jump up into the majors. Because I think that there's a lot you can gain in the rookies, and having those extra seasons under your belt. I didn't know that at the beginning. I was just eager to jump out there and get going, and it kind of hindered me in some ways. But to answer your question completely, I'd be a tough call, because my goal is production. Being that part of the team that just always gets stronger, always gets better, and I know no matter what team I go to this new season, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go out there, produce and perform, and, and build myself correctly with, and as you were saying about the coaching, every team I've been on has had great coaching staff. They do suggest, how you should work, work your player or work things, but they all leave it to you, really. And that's the biggest component is, they kind of leave it free. And I know Arizona's the same way, because I've, talked to a ton of the players there. And you really kind of get left up to yourself. It's really how you want to play. And for me, it is the production. It is, and it's not as much about me. It's production for my team. It's getting those first downs. It's getting that the wins, getting the touchdowns, doing anything I need to do to push my team to the end of the win. And for me, that is that production side. Is going out there and performing and doing what I need to do. Same thing with with the Knights. I had a whole lot of yards, not a lot of touchdowns, but I had a lot of first downs. that's what makes more difference. You know what I'm saying? That's what people also remember too, because you may be scoring touchdowns left and right as a wide receiver, but if you're not getting first downs, and you're dropping the ball or not doing anything, then but you don't want to be known as that too. so yeah, no, it makes a lot. Yeah,
that's interesting. Because it kind of alludes to my next question that I had. Because Nick, you kind of like answered my follow-up question with what you were saying earlier. So I'm not going to ask what I was going to ask you, but I will ask how, and this is for both of you, how important is player stats versus team stats to you? Now, I'm not setting you up. This is not a gotcha question kind of moment to kind of ruin anybody's career. I'm not that type of person. But I do find it interesting what the different reasons why people are here, and the different reasons why they continue to stay and to continue to pay the money. This is your player. You can do whatever you want to with that player. You can progress how you want to, as long as it kind of fits the mold of what your coach is trying to do as a team effort. But which one is more important? Your player stats or your team, or the team stats?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's a wrong answer to this question. Because I think people, I'll use an example, like King Jackson. I think he likes to focus a lot on player stats. I don't think that's bad. I think he wants his player to be the best player that he could be. Someone like myself, I focus more on team stats because I just enjoy more of a team sport. I don't want to be a detriment to my team, so I don't want to be, giving up a bunch of touchdowns at cornerback. But I don't necessarily mind if I'm not, like for an example, I think on San Jose, Seatbelt has more interceptions than me at this point. Awesome for Seatbelt, awesome for our team because he's doing well on the other side of the field. It doesn't really matter as much to me if I'm not bringing in the flashy stats, just as long as our team is doing well. I mean, our team is 1-2, so we're not doing that well. But so maybe I need to do a little bit better. But
long season,
But like I said, I err on team versus my own player, I guess I would say.
Okay.
That's interesting.
And be honest, Talon. It's okay.
Here we go. So it's interesting because I guess, I don't know, maybe his mindset is more defensive, because it's the overall, aspect. But for me, like I told you, I want to be the best in my position, and it's not, I feel like if I'm doing the production, I'm making touchdowns, I'm doing, the first downs, I'm getting that stuff, those promote my team stats. You know what I'm saying? Like, so the bigger, better, I can carry it. I can do, I mean, yeah, you've met me in person. I'm a pretty big personality, and I'm sure that nobody that wasn't in Vegas doesn't know. I'm a pretty big personality. So when it comes to Talon, I mean, Talon Steele came to this league to be a force. I mean, he's not a small guy. I mean, he's 6'7", 200, and I think we've cut weight to try to get down to that wide receiver, area where we need to be. So he's still like 250, I think. So he's not a small guy. He's a big personality. He's there to produce, production, and that's why I like when you made the comment about, about switching up to wide receiver. That's the testing. But at the same time, if the fans and the people want, Talon to stay as a tight end one, which I'm saying, if owners want that, that's what I'll do. Because that's where I'll produce the most, and that's where I'll be the best aspect, and player for a team. And, the overall team aspect in my mindset is let's win, let's get this done. Like, let's hurt them. Let's, I know you've seen some of the Knights games. I mean, we ran some yardage up. I mean, Johnny Picker ain't scared to throw the ball. You know what I'm saying? We ain't scared to catch it. So, that's the high fire offense. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't the fact of none of us were thinking for ourselves, but it's thinking, let's get these extra yards, let's get these touchdowns. Let's let's celebrate at the end of the day and kind of dust these opponents. So, I told them in the locker room, we're not regular people. We're giants, and we go out there and win. We go out there and win big, and sometimes people got to get hurt. Sometimes people got to lift and dust. And a lot of times, if we're winning, we were pushing the score. So that's what we came there for. So
okay. Now, a couple more questions of SFL wise. I'm switched to my phone ones, but now, Nick, I know for a fact that you have been doing a lot of off the field things, getting more involved. Would you like to say what you have been doing, or do you have the desire to do more than that?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good question. So I think in the past I was on Axel's show. I was basically a regular panelist on Axel's show, so that was really fun. I enjoyed doing that. I do have plans potentially to kind of start doing interviews for SFLm on his channel, basically. So the channel will still be alive, and then Axel could still do like all-star games and stuff like that. So I might be doing some of that. I did do the communications for Queen City. So it was nice. I got to see, some locker room for Queen City, and I had fun with that. I actually really had no like design background or anything like that, but I did some research, and I feel like I actually put out some really good items on their Twitter and everything like that. I redesigned their Twitter, so it looked really nice. I thought it came out pretty good. So those are the things in the future. I always said, I mean, I originally came in kind of like you see a lot of people will come in and say, I want to own a team, but they don't really know what goes behind that. So you have to GM first or coach first or earn your stripes, because there's a long list of people that want to own teams. I do, however, really, really want to own a minor league team. So if anything changes in the future, I'd like the idea of maybe buying San Jose, because I was there for 2 years, and I get into things. So like, video games and books and stuff like that. I kind of role play. So I like the idea of, buying San Jose potentially if they offer minor league teams for sale, and running that'd be kind of fun. And it's a good stepping stone. Then I could see how it works and say, maybe I would want to own a major league team in the future, or be part ownership or anything like that. But I'm pretty happy right now just trying to work on my player. I mean, I'm in the minors, so I'm happy to work on my player and just, do little things for teams if they need it.
I mean, that's not, if you are simulating what the major leagues are going to be about as players, I mean, maybe, and that, even as coaches, even though those players, there are some players that are actually coaches in the SFLm, but if you did kind of have that simulation for an owner, that wouldn't be a bad idea. And I don't know if they're going to go with it, because that's more kind of like that's like what, 8 other people that's going to be added, but I don't know. It's I like the idea. I think it's cool, but maybe something to come of it,
Yeah, I always liked the idea of it, because I figured, San Jose, it'd be cool if I could buy a hat for San Jose, but we can't, because the logo, I think, comes from the game itself. Yeah, so it'd be cool even if it's less, because obviously it's not going to be the same as the major leagues.
Yes.
So even if it's more surface level of design, you own it. You don't even let's just say you don't control the coaches. So like for San Jose, I don't have control. Maybe that art still coaches or anything like that. But I could, design the stadium. I could change the logos. I could change the team. Maybe that gets you a little more creative or something like that. I don't know. Just something would be kind of fun.
Nice. Good stuff, man. Talon, have you, I don't know, I'm not certain. Have you actually helped any of your teams out in any other capacity, like maybe doing stats or anything like that? And would you be willing to do that for your future teams?
What's the big thing? I know we kind of touched on it, outside of this, and my goal is to own a team. Absolutely. Like I said, I'm a huge personality. I know this year going into it, I'm definitely opening myself up to step into a different role, help out. I know in Jacksonville we did some scouting and stuff, playing with games and watching other teams and stuff, and that was kind of a one thing I did like. A lot of teams helping each other out, like the players, watching tape, watching things, trying to figure out, understanding other teams were playing, and there's a consensus of pulling things together. Some of the places prefer not to do that way. They have, those people that know the game inside and out, and that's kind of the roles they do. I know with my ultimate goal of owning a team, and not just taking my personality, as a player, but as a personality of, I kind of want to be the Jerry Jones. of SFL. I'll be honest. I'm coming in with a big personality. I myself now in a corporate environment, you know what I'm saying? So I'm used to navigating that world. I've been in it for 25 years. So, you know, shaking hands, kissing babies, I do it all day, every day, unfortunately.
You sure you want to use Jerry Jones as that example?
Sometimes, you know what I'm saying, you got to bring the money to make things work. I mean, that's just how it is. I mean, but in the overall scheme of things, that's why I think it's great that you have Nick and myself on here, because, you know, it's almost like drastic personality, you know, differences, but we have a lot of common, you know, like the D&D and the gaming, and there's so many things. That's why I think that that I love about the SFL, and I want to, you know, the day that I do get a chance to, you know what I'm saying, step into an ownership role or whatnot, and I be honest, I'm speaking to several owners that I've gotten relationships with that are giving me advice, that are working with me to get a better understanding of that type of world in SFL, because anytime that you look towards doing something like that, you got to learn to adapt and evolve and you know what I'm saying, put yourself in a way that, you know, maybe my personality that's been at, you know, Houston and in Vegas, maybe not always just like, you know, the biggest, best, you know, like, you know, holding up the bar with everybody else is not always maybe like, you know, the most appreciative or, you know, things like that. So maybe Cincinnati is a little change on the Talon. You never know. But at the same time, no, I mean, you know, going into any team, you know, I do want to step into a bigger role, help out more, you know, and my ultimate goal is to, you know, what if I can one day step into an ownership role, is to bring in a big presence, bring in a big team, you know, with my understanding of like all kinds of stuff, you know what I'm saying? I bring a lot to the table with the social media aspect, as well as like really anything comes down to it. I know the day that whether it's co-ownership or ownership or however it rolls, I will make sure that we have one of the biggest presences, you know, inside and outside the league. You know, and that's one of the big things is I have a lot of connections, a lot of good people here in Nashville, Tennessee. And, you know, it's about, you know, I know I've heard great things, you know, with Canton, you know, I know they talk about a lot of big things and like what things they want to do. And I'm the same personality. I mean, my social aspect is my greatest strength. You know, getting out there, getting, you know, people backing us, people, you know, being involved. I have a lot of contacts, and that's one of the things about, you know, my personality is, you know, I do have a lot of, you know, working in bars and you know, famous people that I'm involved with in real life. So, you know, it's getting our name out there. You know, same thing. Like, you know, I know we both have played outside of just, you know, this esport. We both do, you know, I don't know if you're still doing it or not. I think you're still you're like on the background right now with wrestling, but Talon is technically, you know, Azrael Halfbreed who plays for, you know, NPON, and he's a big presence there. So I have, you know, that aspect, you know, I like the personalities. I like the big presence. I like the, you know, going over the top, you know, selling yourself, the, you know, cut promos, you know what I'm saying? Like, get out there. Like, I think we could use more on that on the SFL side too. I think we need those people out there, like pushing us, you know what I'm saying, to a different aspect, and, you know, being more in the people's faces. You know what I'm saying? I think sometimes we're a little, it could be, and I don't mean no disrespect to Cam, because I love the commish, she's amazing, but it's getting our personality out there. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that we can touch so many more branches of things. And I would love to be a part of, you know what I'm saying, trying to help us build a bigger brand in any kind of way, you know, and that's one of the things that I can do.
One thing I will say this, being on this new game that we're going to be switching over to, this will help him to be there for us a lot more in the community like he used to be. Nick, I'm not sure if you remember the community sessions that Cam would have, where he would spend maybe a couple hours just with the community in the community chat, and he would answer any questions that people have, just saying, you know, let us know what's coming down the pipeline. Do you remember those?
No, I don't think I was there for that.
Okay. So it's been a while. But with this new game, and I'm going to ask you guys, this is the final SFL question for now. With this new game coming out, first of all, how do you feel about it? And do you think that this will be beneficial to the league in your particular opinions? Now, I will give you just some little information. Cam is moving to this game because he wants to have more free time to be that personality, or to show his personality more so to the league, to the members of the community that can't make it to see him in person at the conventions, things of that nature. So it's going to be real interesting to kind of see him back, more involved, answering questions probably a little bit sooner than he has been known to do. But you got to understand, it's just one man. Everybody got 100 people asking one question to one person. That's a lot. You know what I mean? So he's going to have time to be here and to do more for us. So what are your thoughts on the new game, the handheld console, all of that?
Yeah, I'll go first. So I did order a Retroid. So as a gamer, I obviously had to buy it. Yeah. I actually have a couple other emulators, which it might work on those. I'm not sure, but I like to kind of collect those type of things. I like the game. The game looks a lot better in my opinion. Graphics wise, it's odd. Like if you watch them at the same time, you might say that APF has better graphics, but then I don't know. It's weird because then you watch the new game by itself and you're like, this. I don't know. It just looks better. I don't know if it's. I don't know what it is, but
it's growing.
I will miss the gameplay on APF just because the way the lines are set up. I can easily follow where my character is. Where I think it's a little harder on the new game, but I think in general it's a huge benefit. I mean, custom teams, custom uniforms. It just makes sense to do it. If the league is going to progress at all. And I was going to say to Talon, I think as an owner, I would choose Mark Davis because I kind of want to get his haircut.
Oh God! as an avid Charger fan, that's rough. That's real rough.
I would
really, see, but for me, it was Jerry Jones as a personality. You know what I'm saying? Like that guy is the craziest. Like,
well, people calling for his head though. People want to see that boy gone. So you might. That's what I'm saying.
I'm just talking about like he's got the money to do it. He's got the what I'm saying to push it, and that's why people just don't. I don't. But at the same time, he's a personality. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's not a lot of owners that are really vocal, that are really out there, that are personalities, and that's the way I want to be. Though I want to be a good personality, but in a positive aspect. You know what I mean? So
in reality, I would choose Robert Kraft because I'm obviously biased because I'm a Patriots fan. But if you ever go down there, he basically opened up his own town down there. You know, there's malls, there's everything down there. So it's pretty cool.
I wonder if he cheated to get those too. Oh,
probably.
Sorry. Sorry, I'm not a Patriots fan.
Taxes, everything.
Well, I don't mind the Patriots. I just don't like, Belichick or Kraft. So
they always forget all the other teams that were caught cheating that year and the year after. But
yeah, but you can't consistently cheat like how many years in a row and still get away with it, which doesn't make any sense. That's a whole different story for another day. AJ's like, oh God.
Even though we're different personalities, I was liking you up until this point.
I know. I felt the same way about you. I was like, man, I got to get this dude's gamer tag. I forget.
It's just certain subjects you just can't talk about. Like with me and Cam, it's Green Bay. We just can't talk about football. Other than that, we're good.
Getting into regular football will be a whole another show, AJ.
That's true. But what are you thinking about this new game? And then we're going to move on to the fun questions. I got like 2 or 3 of them for you.
I'll be honest. I think it's great. Kind of with with free agency and stuff coming up, I'm pretty excited. Not going to lie. It's a new thing. I know, like we had that meeting that Cam kind of came out and was talking about a lot of stuff, and it was exciting. I'm not gonna lie, I sat back and was like, man, Cam, us knowing him, you know what I'm saying, at the conventions and things, and he is an exciting person. When he's excited about something, he's excited about something. And to hear him and the other people get so excited about the new game, it kind of makes us excited, because we are out there playing, we are having a good time, but it's like when you see Cam get excited about something and laugh and have a good time and he's enjoying himself, that's awesome, because it brings a lot of like excitement for the league. So I know I've watched a lot of games that were going on. I definitely got to see, with Jacksonville playing and stuff. And I'm not gonna lie, the graphics are pretty sweet, and I think that Talon look amazing out there on the field, and I'm saying, in the new game, and just the stadiums look incredible. Things look great. I think there's a lot of excitement around it from what I've heard. With everybody that with the owners and the coaching staff, and people are really positive on it. And I think that's great, because as somebody who's, at this time just a player, it's great to hear them excited about it. So it makes me more excited about the game. I've, watching the game stuff, I think it's a little more fluid, and I think it's, we're not everybody's going to be a superstar. And as somebody who came in after a lot of these great people, that are stars, I think it's kind of the way it's built. It's kind of leveling the field, and now it's going to be about the personalities, as more than it is just about your player stats and how your players built. I think that a lot of it comes down to what's important to me is like you were saying, Nick, the locker room's important. It really is. Building those people together that want to stay together, that want to, work as a team and enjoy themselves. It's going to be huge. I think this game is going to push us in a different direction, to where everybody that's kind of in it now will actually feel more a part of it. And I think that's what we need to, to be promoting, because I know what SFL has done. You sit back and you watch the videos from before I was even here. There are a lot of touching videos. We're building with community. We're helping, a lot of people outside. There's, we have a ton of people that come here that maybe didn't feel connected with, the outside world, And to me, that's why I came, to be honest with you, 100% AJ. We had, the person that was with Empon, Nighthawks or Justice Blackwell, he kind of let us all kind of know about this, SFL. And it really I was like, this is interesting. I don't really know if I have time to spread, myself into another thing. And then you sit back and you watch all the old YouTube videos, the old stuff where, there's a lot of touching stuff out there. There's people that, didn't feel that they were a part of the outside world, but then SFL gave them the ability to touch other people's lives. And we see it at the conventions. That's why I'm trying to say anybody who does not make it to convention needs to make it to the convention, because there's so many touching stories. There's so much stuff that goes on that you don't get to see. The shaking the hands, getting to know people's personalities, that's incredible, and I think SFL is just not a game and we're just having a good time. I think outside of everything else, outside character or outside whatever, that's what brought me here. It's the personalities, the people like you, AJ. We've been at the conventions. I've got to meet you in person. You're not just this personality. You are bigger than that. You're such a sweet person, and everybody will say the same thing in SFL, that you're a great person. But there's so many other people like Cam. You can genuinely see he's just not a personality on the forums. He's not a personality. He is somebody that's out there, shaking hands and hugging and being that good person. And everybody's looking towards, doing something bigger and better. With SFL, they're not just trying to build an esport game. They're trying to build something that people want to be a part of or be accepted. And I think that's honestly the biggest impact, in my opinion. So this game, I think, is going to bring us to the next level. I'm excited. So I guess long way around. That's the answer to the question.
I know you're a conversationalist.
No, I don't think anybody knows that.
Nice. Well, thank you, gentlemen, for those, for giving me your thoughts and your opinions about certain things. And I will be having you both on for more. Couple fun questions. Well, maybe about 3. Depends on how long it takes you to answer. But no. So, if you could go back in time to change one thing in your life, what would it be, or would you even do it?
I can go first, since I think I've gone first every time.
I think you did.
I'm good with it. I'm still thinking.
So it's hard. I think I would err on the side of no, because not changing something, because I used to always, so you might not tell, but I used to be really good at baseball, and I was scouted at one time by the White Sox, and I ended up breaking my hand in a car accident, and there's a local independent team. Well, they used to be the Worcester Tornadoes, and they became a new team. So they were basically putting out for every single position. So I was like, 21 or something like that at the time. And the White Sox scout that I had dealt with was like, hey, you should try out for this. And he accidentally told me the week after it went out. So I ended up missing the tryouts. But then I ended up taking a job at a financial company. And then I met my wife, and I have a beautiful 3-year-old. So you look back and you're like, well, it would have been cool. Maybe I could have played some independent ball. Maybe something would have happened out of that. But then at the same time, I have like the cutest 3-year-old in the world, and she wouldn't be here if that happened. So sometimes you want to change things, but you never know how that would affect, stuff downstream. So.
Gotcha. So you're not changing nothing.
Except maybe there's some stocks I might buy that I didn't buy.
It's just set up on the back end.
Yeah, I would have bought Tesla or something. I don't know. Something like that.
Okay. Or Apple. First.
Apple. Yep.
Talon.
Oh man, I would love to say I could have picked better women that I had my 2 beautiful girls with. Which,
Okay.
hey, congratulations! I know your daughter's 3, but I've got a 21-year-old and a 10-year-old. So it's been a long road. Been an interesting road with co-parenting and things like that. And I would love to say that would be a reason why I would like to change something, but at the same time, I wouldn't have them, so I would never do that. I really don't think there's many things that I would ever think about changing my life, because up until this point, it's made me the best father, for them. I'm huge into softball. My daughters both play softball. One is playing Division I at Oregon, which I think is huge. My youngest daughter is a beast mode, and I'm every bit of, active in their lives. So, there's so many things I would be like, man, I'd like to change that. But, at the same time, then you think about it as an adult. You're like, if you went back and changed those things, you'd never have the things that you have today, and we've all grown, we've all changed, we've all had those aspects. So it's like that question's usually a pretty easy one. Like Nick said, I don't really think that there's something I would change, because, I've, went to high school, played rugby, I played semi-pro, I went to University of Tennessee on full ride scholarship for sports. So everything's, you look back in your life and you're like, oh man, I've made better choices, but there's no reason why I would go back. I think I side with Nick.
Gotcha. What if you had the choice to be without one of these things, what would it be? AC or heat?
Heat. I actually have an easy answer for that, because I always erred on the side of I hate being hot, but I don't mind being cold. Okay. So like I love when it's cold. Like I don't turn the heat on, and my wife gets mad, because I like being under blankets and warming myself with the blankets. But it being hot in the house would just drive me crazy. I would hate that with a passion. So my easy answer is I'd rather be without a heat, I think. I mean, that's probably detrimental. I'd probably die or something, but but that's my answer.
Okay, no, you're good. You can always put layers on, but you can't take layers off, right?
Yeah.
So, Talon, no AC or no heat?
Okay, well, I'll be honest. As somebody who grew up with a mom that was a single parent, was a police officer, we never really had much money. So living in Indiana, I'm saying, if you've ever been up there, Indian summers are pretty bad. We got used to like having no AC, because we put box fans in both windows at one part of the house, the other part of the house, and they would suck the air through, and man, you're good. So I would have to say heat, because summers of everywhere I've lived, anywhere from Chicago to Indiana to Tennessee, I don't think the heat would be good. What I'm saying? Like, I think that'd be horrible, like freezing to death. I mean, you only put so many blankets on, you can't you only layer so much. So I guess that's my answer, because like I can deal with the heat as long as I have some box fans going on.
All right then. Okay. You can only have one meal for the rest of your life. What is it?
That's a tough one.
I know. I'm right there with you. I'm like, oh, God.
I eat a lot of meals. Oh, by the way, funny story. This shirt. This is what happens when you let your 3-year-old choose what you're wearing on the.
Oh,
the
that's
video.
cute though. She got some.
I know. I actually liked it though. I mean, I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
I
down with you.
I actually bought it as a joke because we were taking my daughter to the aquarium, and I bought it and I put it on, and I'm I didn't tell my wife I bought it, and I walked out and I'm like, this is what I'm wearing, and she's like, are you wearing that? I'm like, this is what I'm wearing. This is what I'm wearing. But I think one of my favorite dishes that I don't typically get tired of is shepherd's pie. It's like the good old, potatoes, corn. Well, we make it a little different maybe because we don't have like a ton of stuff, and it's potatoes, corn, gravy, and ground meat. And you'll mix in some stuff like onions or whatever, but just a basic shepherd's pie. I think it's pretty decent.
Okay, every day, cool. Shepherd's pie it is. Talon.
Oh man, I guess if everybody knows me from conventions, it might be liquor, but I don't know. That's not a meal. I know, AJ.
You wouldn't be alive long.
Well, but I at least enjoy myself. But at the same time, anybody who's met me, I'm a pretty big guy. I've always been lifting and stuff. So the one thing I can say that's been a staple through the entire time, because I can't really think of a meal, would be chicken. You know what I'm saying? Like chicken breast, chicken. You know what I'm saying? Like I could eat them all day, every day, and I do now. Like this off season, I've dropped roughly close to 40 pounds.
Nice.
So that's a factor, and to me, honestly, like I've never grown tired of eating chicken. Just I can eat chicken breast like a snack, like just that's just normal. So yeah, I mean, I can't think of a meal though, because there's so many meals that I miss because of my diet now. I like pastas and bread and everything. So
you just said it. You eat chicken. That's it.
But I mean, I'm good with it though. But it doesn't hurt my feelings. I'm excited. Now my daughter, on the other hand, that lives with me all the time. You know what I'm saying? She's kind of like, Dad, do we have to eat chicken again tonight? I'm like, no, I'll make you a pizza. And then it's rough because I'd like to say pasta. I'd like to be like, oh man, chicken Alfredo is like one of the best things in the world. She gets it, and then she's like, Dad, can you throw in some Texas toast garlic bread? And I'm like, really? I'm like, really? I'm not eating that stuff anymore, right, honey? And she's like, yeah, but you just got to cut it. You don't have to eat it. And I'm like, that's emotional. So see, he plays into the alcohol. I'm like, I need another drink. So kidding.
I think I'm changing my vote to chicken and broccoli Alfredo.
Oh, cold-blooded Nick. I hope you're going to Cincinnati.
Oh, that's a good combination. I'm so they have other options. They got rice pasta and other stuff, vegetable pasta.
Yeah. It just doesn't feel right. It's emotional. It's right here.
Okay, guys, if you could join any current or past music group, like literally be one of the musicians or a singer, whichever one you want, which one would it be?
That's a tough one, man. I'm like,
I mean, if I had to be someone, I think I'd want to be Slash from Guns N' Roses.
Hey,
so maybe if I could maybe I could be the second guitarist in Guns N' Roses. That'd be kind of cool.
There you go.
His back.
Never a dull moment.
Man, if I could be a personality, but not be as old as that person, probably Steven Tyler. Like, okay. I feel like that dude has done everything. Like, I feel like he's led the life. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think there's nothing he's never sampled or done. And I think that probably would be one of the most fulfilling lives in a career. Not just that, but I mean, how many hits have they had that's, over the top? And so that's probably, yeah.
Okay. Two more.
Do you know who I would want to be, I think? Because I kind of look like I'm a little Tenacious D. I'd like to be the lead singer.
You do look like Jack Black. I honestly, when we thought this interview, I was like, man, I'm with Jack Black. This is going to be a great interview. What if I get him to sing?
I do not have his lungs.
I know. That's why I was like, AJ, maybe. No.
You have the option. All right. So, what is one thing that you will never do again? One thing that you've done in your life that you know for a fact. Listen, I will even chime in on this. At Six Flags, there is a ride called Acrophobia where it takes you straight up in the air. It leans you out and it hangs there for a second. Wait until you get all nice and comfortable. Then it just drops you. Never again. Never again.
I love that stuff.
Okay, you can keep.
I did the bungee one where they like drop you. That's cool.
Never done it. Won't do that.
So I don't know if this conflicts with Talon, but I've been drunk once and I'll never do it again. I think the key is obtaining a sustained buzz, which is really good. There's if you get drunk, you don't know how to drink because you're going past that sustained buzz, and it's not fun. So, I did not like it, and I would not want to do it again. So I drink moderately, and I like it. So
to answer that, practice makes perfect. Anytime you're ready at the conventions, let me know. I guess for me, don't ever trust Johnny Pickler when he says he's going to eat a steak. You're not going to get a steak in the car. I know that from the convention in Houston. There's another story to that one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And there's a lot of people out there in SFL. They're like, "You didn't know?" And I was like, "No, I didn't know. I just went for the ride." And then, yeah, long story. But things that I wouldn't do that I do now. I don't know. I'm one of those people. It's like I'll try just about anything once.
Now I'm sure you tried something that you was like, you know what, never again. That's what I want to hear.
I know, but that's what I'm trying to think of though. But I'm like, I'm pretty open to just trying anything really. That's just the truth. I mean, like, if you don't put yourself out there, you know what I'm saying? Like you don't make, I don't know. I'm trying to think of something. That's why I was like, hopefully Nick will last a long time because I really don't have it like something that I'm like, what have I done that was really bad other than date the women that I've dated? That's probably. I'm like, that might be like the biggest.
I have a few of those.
I'm like, I don't know. There's a lot of those. So, but it's tough. That's a tough question because like I don't think that there's something that I can pinpoint that was like that I'll never do again. Because just because it's bad the first time doesn't mean it might. I mean, unless if it was a Vegas personality, that'd be a different story. Then we'd have to talk. But there's a lot of stuff.
I bet. Well, I might do an unplugged episode that way.
That's what we need, AJ. We need an unplug.
All right. Last question for you guys. Would you rather explore in depth space or the ocean?
I'm gonna go with space. I'm very interested in space.
Yeah.
And for some reason, the ocean scares me. So it's just I don't know what's in there. And when I'm swimming around, usually like when we go to the ocean, I'll go out and then afterwards I'm thinking, what was out there? like what was 10 feet from me that I don't know was 10 feet from me?
And you see the crazy videos where there's something like 10 feet from you. So it's like and this person didn't know that.
And I know that space is probably more deadly, but for some reason, just like the darkness of the ocean just would freak me out, I think.
Okay. I mean, there's no real wrong or right answer to it. It just depends on you and your experiences. I have known that some people just don't like water, and as far as like big things of water, so that affects them. Or some people, hear all the stories of what comes down supposedly from space, which you never know, and that scares them. So it's just interesting. But Talon, what do you
let's see. So background wise, I'm Samoan, so water is not a fear. We love water. So but at the same time, like the nerd side of me kicks in because space, like we can't be the only ones out here. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it might just be the nerd in me that's like, I love sci-fi, I love like, that world. So potential chance to like see other things, other planets, other people. I mean, we can't be the only ones out here. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they probably don't come here because we're very our YouTube is bad. Our TikToks or other stuff. So people are probably like, we're not going there. Aliens are like, dude, there's no sense. They're not even close to us. Like, we just leave them alone. Let them like progress still, they, you know, and blow themselves up. So
they kind of
space seems the way. I don't really know, because ocean is such a, you know, I mean, there might be stuff out there, but at the same time, like, I don't know. I'm into mutants and other stuff and comics. So, you know, it's like, I don't really feel like that's the place we need to be, because we couldn't survive there no matter what. So, you know what I mean? The lower we go, we're not there yet. So space for sure.
Good stuff, gentlemen. This was fun. I really enjoyed having both of you on the show. You know, getting to know you guys more in detail and actually introducing you to a lot of new members of the league. I want to say it was... last time I checked, hold on, give me a second. Did y'all have any questions for me while I'm looking this up?
Do you need a cornerback in Arizona?
Cornerback?
Cornerback.
Yep. Cornerback, yeah.
Try to hook you up, Nick.
Thanks.
Arizona's a great team. I know a lot.
I've already reached out to them. They were like, "No, we don't need you."
AJ's like,
I'm gonna say this: if I was interested, well, I really can't say that, because I feel like if I say, "Hey, Talon and Nick, I want y'all to definitely come over and help me out," you guys would be taken just because I said I wanted you. That's how some people work. Oh, she want them? Oh, okay. Let me go ahead.
Well, you do have one of the best owners, that's for sure.
2,300 people.
And what?
It is 2,300 people in our SFL server right now.
Wow.
Nice.
So I'm sure it's a lot of people that didn't know, that probably haven't seen a show from me before, or any of our wonderful content creative team. Probably didn't know much about you until this moment. So I'm glad that y'all made some time for me, you know, today. And if y'all have any questions that y'all want me to answer, I'm happy for you. I'll be happy to do it.
I have one thing to say for sure. I know when I threw myself out there for agency and definitely threw out a shout to, you know, all the people for London Nights. You know, there's a lot of great players out there, and you know, maybe some aren't getting as much movement as possible as they could. And I'm just saying, there's a lot of great people, personalities, and I have a lot of respect for all those guys, you know, and I'm the same way. I mean, I came on the show tonight to kind of push myself out there, but I'm also pushing the players, because there's great personalities, great locker room. You know, it kind of sucks, you know what I'm saying? Like, we've lost our home. So, you know, there's a lot of good people, and if you're looking for good players, good people, you know, it's not just the players, it's the personality. And I think that's important. But at the same time, I want to throw a lot of respect to people that, when I put myself out there, you know, switching up, there's a lot of people that I'm pretty, I hate to say flattered by, but I didn't realize that I've made an impact on a lot of people. And there's a lot of people that kind of stuck out, and I was like, oh, wow. Well, yeah, okay. Maybe I should clean up a few things, you know what I'm saying, as in the conventions, but, you know, but it's great. I really appreciate all the people that spoke out and said a lot of good things, you know, about me. And I hope that moving forward, you know what I'm saying, I can only, you know, touch more people and get along with more people and have a good time and get to know people. So yeah. I appreciate you, AJ, because you're always awesome. In person, you're one of the biggest personalities. I love it. It's awesome.
Well, I thank you for the compliment that you gave me earlier. I don't think I said anything about it, but thank you for that. Thank you for this one. Like I said, I just do this because I want everybody else to be showcased, because not everybody is going to have a platform, whether they make it on their own, or whether they go on someone's show. Maybe people are just not as comfortable, you know. So, you know, you just wait till they're ready. But to your point about, you know, the London crew, I mentioned that on the show last week, you know, that hopefully, you know, the crew finds a home. And if it is a situation to where they have intentions on leaving and playing with Johnny next season, only thing you do is just make it known to the people that you're going to. Like, hey, I'm only going to be here for a season. Don't make the promises like, yo, I'm here for the long haul, and then all of a sudden you're bouncing. I think it's better for you to just be honest, because we all have eyes. We saw what happened. You know, personally, you know, could the team have been left together and just maybe Cam could have did something, but then it would have been like they would have had the upper hand because Cam is commissioner. So it's like different things that, maybe could have been done, but ultimately the decision was made, and just be clear and in your communication. That's all. That's all you got to do. But,
Can I say one thing to that, AJ?
Mm-hmm.
So one thing, kind of being on the inside, I know Johnny spoke very open with us, and it's not the choice he wanted to make lightly. You know what I'm saying? To like kind of put us all to the wind, because that's kind of how we are. He's been very open with us. He's been very his intentions of what he wants to do down there, I think it's gonna be great. I think London's gonna, whoever they are moving forward, will be great under him. I think he's gonna do a great job. He's a great, I know a lot of people have, perspective of Johnny as the player / the player. And I think a lot of people are judging that going into the new situation. He's pretty much told us all, I'm saying, like, go out, like, go to teams, like, he doesn't, there's no disrespect or upset feelings because, I'm saying, what he's doing, he's trying to, like, be real respectful as an owner and letting us know, if you don't, if there's no future, that's fine. I respect it, and I'll build what I got to do and do what I got to do. And I think that's great. I think it's amazing that, he's still, and he's even said, however I can help you guys, like, find a home, he's stepping himself out there, and that's commendable. I don't think it was the lightest decision he's ever made, I'm saying, just to kind of, because who wants to shut a team down? I mean, there's, that aspect of, there's a lot of players now that are just, I'm saying, that's some, how many is it, the players on the team? I'm not sure of the exact number. I know it changed, last year, year before, when we got all this new team in flux.
Yes, at 23.
Yeah, so that's 23 positions that are gone, from the SFL. So, I mean, with him and Cam, and speaking about that was a huge decision. I think that, no, it wasn't taken lightly, what I'm saying? And I hold no ill will or upset feelings, what I'm saying, and towards him or anybody, what I'm saying, for that decision, because, it puts us all in limbo, and it also shakes up the league, because there's a lot of people that may not feel that they're getting, what I'm saying, the right salaries or right stuff, moving into the new season because of that, because there's 23 people without a home. So, I don't know. I kind of feel like it's a wild decision for sure. I wouldn't, I don't know. Maybe everybody would do something different, but I think Johnny is thinking the big plan, like, not maybe having the right coaching staff or not having the right, like, people to promote what he's trying to do. So, whatever the future is for that team is, I hope, the best things for him, and I think that Johnny's going to do it right. And that's what I hope. Johnny's a great person outside of SFL too, but so I don't want people to judge, the Johnny we've known, who's kind of cocky and, the lovable, arrogant guy that we know Johnny to be, which, I think I know personally it's not a decision he took lightly. So gotcha. I think he's trying to do the best thing.
Gotcha. I mean, you was there. Nick, did you have something you wanted to say before I shut it down?
I mean, not particularly. Just I am a cornerback in the upcoming draft. So if you guys like my personality, feel free to reach out to me. And because I will not be asking to be in the SFLm for another season. So
okay.
So, I like Nick. I think
twice is enough.
Jimmy J, I like Nick. I think Nick's a great person. I'd love to play with him. So
there you go.
Yeah, I mean, my strongest point is that I'm humble. So I'm awesome and humble at the same time. That's
right.
I mean, I know I'm awesome and humble. So.
I know I'm awesome.
Jimmy J, I'm not humble. That's why I love that you put me and Nick on the same show. It's awesome. We're
to be fair, we should probably start our own show. I don't want to compete with AJ, but
anybody that want to start a show, please do. Because I think more people doing things is awesome. I would never think of you as competition. No.
Well, like I said, I was gonna. I probably will be doing an interview program for SFLm, kind of just to fill the gap that Axel left. And
definitely you should, because I miss Axel.
It's called the Bone Zone.
The Bones. Oh, well.
Bone Frossil.
See, I love
There you
Axel. He's somebody we all, I'm saying, because coming from wrestling, we do that too. So, I'm saying, like, the personalities are great. And I think we need more of those personalities, like people like being, real up in your face and having a good time. Like, I think what AJ does for us is great, with SFL.
It's just like, having those different, just like in television, right? When you turn on ESPN, you have those different, you have your Skip Bayless and you have all those different personalities, and you tune in because you're in that certain mood to hear whatever it is. Like if you on my show, you chilling, relaxing, hey, getting ready. You got to work like, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 hour shift, or you got a 4-hour drive. Just tune into one of my shows, bro. It's going to, by the time it's over, you're going to be where you're going.
That's because you're like the sweetest person I've ever met. But it's like people have these personalities, but then it's like when you're around them in person, you're the same person. So it's like, and I was just like, oh God, she is that sweet. And I was like, I just want to hug you. You know what I'm saying? Like that was my first opinion of you when I met you in Houston. You sat at a table, you came over and you were like, hey, Talon. I was like, oh man, she remembers me. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, but then it was like, you're just a good personality. You know what I'm saying? But it's not, your personality is not online. Your personality is just you. So like, Nick's saying, I feel like Nick is that person that he is right here is his genuine true self, and I would listen. You know what I'm saying? AJ, I watch your shows. I think they're great. You get to bring out a lot of, personalities of people, and I think that's important. So, and Nick's the same thing. Like Nick, you start a show, man, I'm right there with you. Like, I think it's great.
You don't know what you're talking about. Like outside, I'm a jerk.
People kind of perceive me as a jerk, but I'm not. Like once they get to know me, they're like, "Oh, you're actually not an a-hole." I'm like, no, I just enjoy having a good time and getting along with everybody. So,
anybody, I encourage. Thank you again, Tyler. But I encourage anybody that wants to get out here and try it, because listen, you're paying your money, you're paying these fees. You better have all the experience that you want to have. Like that's the reason why I went through the ranks. I want my book to go far. So, man, if you want to go write some articles, if you want to see what it's like to actually broadcast games or do stats or, put out your own podcast, I never thought I'd be doing something like this. But
that's a lot of respect up there for calling games. God, seeing that live at conventions. If you've never seen that, those guys put in work. Like,
all right, Nick,
they're amazing. No.
No. Nick, did you
I was like,
that's a unique skill. I don't have that.
Yeah, I don't have
that's too quick for me. That's too quick.
Those guys are amazing. I love them.
They are.
So when they're like, Talon, first down. Oh, sorry. I love them all though. I mean, there's so many great personalities on our, on the staff, like, that are calling the games. I mean, every personality is unique. Every one of them is different. And meeting you in person, you're like, oh my God, you're so awesome.
You're you.
Yeah. But they know their knowledge is great. Like the things they know about the SFL, like that's one of the things that I'm like, I could never do that. You know what I'm saying? Like they just know everything. Like they call it the things that, you're like, man, I didn't know that stat, or I didn't know that, you know what I'm saying? But they have it all. Like it's in their heads. I don't know.
Indeed.
It's too quick.
Indeed. Well, gentlemen, I thank you so much for your time, and y'all have a fantastic day. Do you want to give any final shout outs to anybody in particular? I know y'all kind of did that already, but if you wanted to give a couple more shout outs to people, or you can sing a song, or you can recite poetry if you like. Right now, Nick, the floor is yours.
Oh, that's a tough choice. I mean, the handmade poetry that I do every day, or the songs that I write.
There you go. Pick one.
Tenacious D actually just came out with a video game song, but I haven't memorized it yet, so I can't do that.
Okay, so next time.
Next time I'll do that. I don't know. I would just like to say I kind of did this with Axel when I was on his show, which like I really appreciated Axel. He was a really nice guy. He let me on his show. He's a personal person. I feel the same way about you. I just enjoy talking to you, and it's nice to be on a panel with you. And I think we just have a lot of good personalities in the SFL, and it's just nice to. It's kind of like when I game. There's a few people I've met purely through gaming, and it's just nice because I would have never met them otherwise, and they're just nice people. So just want to say thank you again for being a part of the SFL. So.
Thanks, Nick. I appreciate that, brother. And listen, you can come on the show if you want to be more active on like this show until you get yours off the ground or whatever you want to do. let me know. I got you. That's, just let me know.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Axel fired me, so.
Oh. No,
I finally got into a groove there, and he's like, "No more show." I'm like, "What? The hell?
Don't worry.
What?
I'm looking forward to seeing what you plan on doing. But if you decide for whatever reason you want to put that on hold, you got a spot here.
Sounds good.
All right, Talon, do you have any shout outs that you want to give, or you want to sing any songs or poems?
I don't think anybody wants me to sing. I mean, I know we're talking about karaoke in Cincinnati. I don't think that wants to happen. But I have offered to buy a lot of people's shots that want to do that, so I can keep the promotion of that going. The biggest shout out to me, to be honest, is the Cam and the people that are putting this together for us, because I know I promoted again huge the convention. If you think you can make it, if you can possibly make it, you got to go. Like, the personalities of people, there's so many good people there. You know what I'm saying? And that's the one thing, and I don't know how you feel, AJ, but it's like you can't meet enough people at the convention. Like, you feel like you left and you only met like 25%, you know, and it's like every time I go, I meet more. And it's like, I throw a shout out to, you know what I'm saying, everybody at the conventions, because, you know what I'm saying, like, there's so many people behind the personas and the people that are playing in the game, as well as on Discord, as on the forums but you know, Cam putting it together is the biggest shout out. I mean, like, you know, he's such a good personality. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I feel like there's a lot of times where I haven't got as much of a chance to really, you know, to get to know him as much as I should. But it's like you, I throw a huge shout out to you, because you're as genuine as you can be. There's just the ownership. There's a lot of people out there that are just really good people, and you know, and it can be intimidating when you're coming up through the minors and you don't really know what's going on. And that was the thing that really kind of made the biggest impact on me, was the conventions, because after I went to the convention after my rookie season, then went to the pros and was in Jacksonville and was kind of like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just going to, like, you know, be quiet, not talk to people. Then you go to the convention, it's huge. You know what I'm saying? Like, getting to know those people, so many personalities, so many people, like, you know, all the Atlanta folks, you know what I'm saying? There's so many great personalities, and there's so many down there. I mean, they're just all over the place. You know what I'm saying? Like, I throw shout outs to everybody. I mean, the league, really, because, you know what I'm saying, like, if you've been at the convention and you get to know these people, I mean, the personalities are huge. I mean, those people bring their families and kids, and it's if you haven't done it, you got to do it. I mean, it's impacting. It's something that stays with you. You know, not just that, but the touching stories that we hear. You know, I'm sure, you know, I know you've heard a million, AJ, at the conventions, of what it took for people to get there, what it took for, you know, that's the stuff. I mean, I don't know if that's quite enough of a shout out, but it's like you know, man, it's huge. It's impacting, you know.
It is. And well, that's what the league does. Makes an impact. So hopefully it's a positive one in your life. And of course, you guys have my DMs. So thank you for your compliments. I love doing this. I thank both of you for being on the show multiple times, making time for me, because you didn't have to. And 3, 2, and 1. All right, that is it. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. Special thanks goes out to Talon Steele and Nick Frossil for being on the show. Really appreciated you guys being on and having fun with me. And of course, special shout out and thanks goes to Diggy. Diggy, you got any good words for the people before we leave?
Enjoy the off season, like I've said before. Everybody stay healthy. Enjoy the break, unless you're busy helping to plan for the coming season that started as soon as the season ended. But the main thing I wanted to say was to the free agents and to the rookies, SFLm players right now. Reach out to AJ, or if you're watching the show and other people don't watch it down in the minors, send them the link to the show. Send them the link. Tell them to get out here. It only improves your draft stock. It only lets people learn more about you other than your player. And it does help. And who knows? I mean, you get on here and talk with AJ, and you say you're interested in something, and a team may need something, and say, hey, we can get you a learning experience on this. Come over here and try doing it with us, or we can teach you. You're willing to learn. So that's the main thing. Get yourself known. Don't be afraid. You don't have to get on here and show your face. AJ can put a nice, pretty little picture up there for you, So if you're concerned about that, and that's what's holding you back, don't worry about it. We're more than willing to work with people, and just enjoy the off season and make yourself known. I mean, you've had this open for what, a couple weeks now for free agents, and some people are hollering and wanting to get in, but I think there should be a lot more than what there is.
Yeah.
So,
I'm sure closer to the draft, closer to that time when people want to. That's when
get ahead of the game. Don't be part of the crowd. Don't be part of the lost in the mix. Make sure your name's out here now and get on here 1 time, 2 times before the draft comes. Get on here and then hop on before the draft. And if you're worried about schedule and stuff, I mean, you schedule these interviews. I mean, we're obviously not live here right now. Who's to say you might be in the future? We don't know. It's just it's different perks to different shows and different hindrances to certain types of shows. But that's a plus, is you can schedule interviews with anybody. It could be 8 p.m. when they get off work, or it can be 11 in the afternoon. It can be when you're free, and you have been more than flexible with that with everybody that's been on the show. Even if they were, kind of a last second deal, you still work with people and get them in. So I appreciate that. So thank you.
No, man. Thank you for helping, Diggy. Thank you for being on the show and adding that little spice, that little flair that's needed. I really appreciate it.
Like I said, that's low. Look, it's Diggs. Monotone vanilla. Look at him. There he is. Oh God, the science teacher is back. I feel like I'm back in school.
Well, you're not vanilla
forward.
today. You're not vanilla today. You look like an orange sickle right now.
Hey, Bears out. That's how much I bleed for the Chicago Bears. I turn orange. So
love it. Okay. I love it. Good thing you got a great
Eat it, Thump. Eat it, Thump. I would rather be a Bears fan than people smell me from 2 miles away saying, "Man, that guy smells like stinky cheese." Oh God, Thump's coming.
Stop it.
That's why all those Packers fans would rather watch the games in Chicago. It's an open stadium, and that wind's blowing through there. They ain't got to smell them.
Stop it. He's gonna be back up. I should have both y'all on at the same time.
Actually, I'm sure Cam's listening to this too. And he's a Packer fan. He likes the Packers so much he had to get away from them. That's he can't live anywhere up north around that stuff. It's bad.
Oh my god! Nuts. That was good. Thank you, Diggy. Appreciate you for being here and for your help. And to you, thank you for watching. Cannot wait to bring you another great podcast next week, y'all. But until then, stay safe, treat each other well. Diggy, Striker, we're out. Crazy.